Copper Ashes is a crystal and jewelry business. I started this off as just a hobby. This was just gonna be a little side hustle while I was in college and I was a part-time nanny. Even though, my family and friends were supportive of it, they weren't supportive in the same way where they saw more potential in me than I did myself, I guess.
In the Miller School, we invest in our students because we see the potential, oftentimes a potential they do not even see in themselves.
I see the School of Entrepreneurship thinking that I can be someone bigger than I originally thought, and that has really pushed me forward this whole way. I'll run Copper Ashes full-time for a living right now.
Something that separates us is that we've created an endowed school, an endowed center, and an innovation hub that is open to any student at East Carolina University. In our courses, we've worked with over 26 majors. In our co-curricular programs like the Pirate Challenge, over 50 majors, 300 teams from every college in the university. And those connections across the campus are very important, and it makes our program special.
I was the winner of the inaugural Pirate Entrepreneurship Challenge in 2018, where I took home $12,500 in seed capital for Simple and Sentimental, and needless to say, my business would not be the same without it. It really let me grow my business and start to scale while I was in college, so by the time I graduated, I was the 5th full-time employee at Simple and Sentimental. What that capital really did was help us get into a larger office space, it helped us hire employees, and our business grew substantially after that. And the mentorship that the Miller School provided to us during that time was essential to our growth and learning about business, because I didn't grow up in a family of entrepreneurs. I didn't know anything about business prior to coming to the Miller School.
We're trying to build an authentic program for East Carolina. Student success and regional transformation is very important. And in the Miller School, those are qualities that are integrated into every element of our program.
60% of our students come from rural communities. And I hear this often. They say, my parents or grandparents told me to go to college because there's nothing here for them. And a theme that I've heard, unfortunately, in some of these communities, why would anyone want to come here? Look at the downtown. All of our businesses are gone. And I look at it and I see office space and space for our students to start businesses that's probably going to be quite affordable since it's been vacant for 5 years. If we can change the mindset to believe that there is something to go back to, the student entrepreneurs, I believe, are a vital component of revitalizing Eastern North Carolina and revitalizing rural communities across America. And a college graduate can generate their own revenue and create their own jobs.
I was even able to hire a part-time assistant this semester to help me pack orders and run social media and stuff like that.
2020, it has been a whirlwind of employment. We had 25 full-time employees at one point working on orders. So it's definitely a very seasonal business, but it's really cool because we got to create jobs in the middle of the pandemic when no one else was hiring, to be able to provide income for people who had been furloughed or just were not getting the kind of money that they usually got. We're nearing the end of 2020 with about 15 employees. We're still in the same office, but we are about to close on our first warehouse, and we're going to be moving in there very soon. I'm really excited about that.
I've lived in Greenville, North Carolina all my life, and it's crazy to think how far Greenville has come. So for me, I definitely would like to keep Copper Ashes local because I feel like that's where I belong, and I feel like that's where Copper Ashes belongs as well.
For us, the gap in entrepreneurship education is the transition from a student to a small business owner. If I don't care about helping the student transition from being a student to a small business owner, it's not like they're going to go to one of these small towns and find a mentor that's going to help them build and create something.
So the Miller School does these little trips where they take us to different cities with ECU alumni and just friends of the college who own thriving businesses, and we get to meet them. It's really cool because we get to tour businesses that not many people get access to.
The most impactful tour, we went to Wilmington, and just like the layout, kind of like the company culture / vibe, it just imprinted in my mind. I'm like, I want my employees to be like that. Like, I want my company culture to be like that.
As an entrepreneur at the time who had employees, to see these huge companies and get connected with them, because without the Miller School, I would have never come across these kind of people. But it was really helpful to ask them, like, hey, so how do you guys hire? How do you make decisions like this? And it's really neat and inspiring for me as someone who has a smaller business right now to see what could be and to be inspired by the stories of people who also graduated from ECU.
In the Miller School, we're convinced that we can help them develop an entrepreneurial mindset and a skill set to find that entrepreneurial career path that allows them to be successful.
The Miller School kind of cured a little bit of imposter syndrome that I've always had. Like, oh, maybe I'm not confident enough yet, or like I don't know enough yet. My current business I'm working on, it's centered around like business consulting and robotic process automation. They always push you to find a problem and then solve it in a new and creative way. That's a huge idea within the Miller School. I've been interning with a healthcare system and just seeing how like inefficient some of their processes are, because they still use like Microsoft Word and then like Excel, like the old way of doing business. And then I discovered there's a way to automate all those processes. I could do this for other businesses and just grow it out. Entrepreneurship's usually thought of as you build it from the ground up. The Miller School really pushes the idea of intrapreneurship and entrepreneurship. So through that intrapreneurship mindset, I thought, oh, I can build something within an already existing company.
The classroom is great in establishing a foundation of knowledge about entrepreneurship, but there's certain elements of entrepreneurship that you need to learn through field-based projects.
The Miller School has a couple of classes where you actually get to go in and help a business create like a business plan or a marketing plan. It can be a variety of things, and get to help them find a solution that they're actually going to be implementing into the business. As a student, that experience was invaluable. I got to go into companies with real world problems, not just things made up by the professor. I knew that the work I was doing was actually going to benefit someone in the real world. And it helped me create connections and getting to really see what it's like to be a business owner in today's market.
I ended up being a part of Rise 29, which is an internship through ECU. And they ended up taking me on as an intern and a client of Rise 29, which absolutely blew my mind. I ended up working on a team of 3 students, which is including myself, and we started working on copper ashes through that. And I would say through that one semester of working with them, it put me years ahead of where I would be by myself. And since then, I was able to hire one of those interns as a part-time assistant. If I hadn't have been part of the internship and a client of that, I would probably just be doing a side hobby. I probably would have gotten another job by now.
Mentoring and coaching is so important in entrepreneurship. We developed regional advisory councils that are composed of alumni and friends of our program.
I accidentally started a company in high school. I taught people how to trade online. After I came to school, I got to the point where I basically had to choose one or the other. I had to choose either my company or school. So I was going to just shut down the company actually, because I figured, there's nothing else I could do with it. It's either fail out of school or keep doing my company, which, I was spending like 100 hours a week on, and that just wasn't feasible with school. And then my freshman year, the Miller School invited me to have a working lunch session with a bunch of alumni and the Business Advisory Council. I was talking about my company, and that's when a couple of the alumni mentioned to me about selling it as an acquisition to our competitor, which I didn't think of. It was just really life-changing.
I have a handful of ECU alumni who I can just call or text and get plenty of business help and advice from, who are much further along than me. And I would not have connected with them had it not been for the Miller School.
If you connect with the Miller School and you show them that you have potential and you have drive to do things, then they're going to work with you a lot and help you way more than you could ever help yourself.
You really develop a relationship with these young emerging entrepreneurs. You nurture them and you educate them while they're on campus, but then you have to create programs that continue that education process long after they leave ECU.
I believe Dennis Barber is going to continue to mentor me for the next however long he puts up with me, I guess. And I'll see where Copper Ashes goes. I'm hoping in the next few years to have hired some other employees to help run the business.
It's such a great compliment to be a finalist for the USASBE Emerging Program Award. It's a validation that what we're doing is respected by our peers. We understand that we're just getting started and there's a lot more work that we'd like to do, and we'd like feedback from our peers so that we can improve what we're doing.
I would say from starting here at ECU, not even the thought of copper ashes in mind, but just the idea of, oh, I'm going to make jewelry on the side, and to be here now part of this video and be a part of something greater than myself is something that I would never have thought I would have been. It's exciting, so I'm happy to be here and happy to be able to represent the school.